Hey mushroom friends, it's Anna McHugh. I'm spending a little bit of time with these glorious but inedible little cordyceps type mushrooms. The common name for this cold weather mushroom is the drumstick truffle club. It's in the Tolypocladium genus, and so it is a parasitic genus of mushrooms. We have a number of different species. I'm going to take a crack at an identification specifically of Tolypocladium longisegmentatum, and so that species is characterized by having a nice long stem, as you can see here, sort of orangey light brown cap. And as you can see also, this cap doesn't open up. So you find a lot of baby mushrooms where this is actually a cap that will open up and you'll have gills underneath or something. But this is fully attached, hence that drumstick part of drumstick truffle club. And then you also have these cheerful sort of bright yellow colors very frequently. Another thing that you'll notice here, and this feature will occur all over the mushroom's fruiting body as it matures and gets damaged, and also when it gets really, really cold, you'll get these blackish streaks that start to develop. And I have another one to show you that is starting to develop those blackish streaks on the cap as well as toward the base of the stem here. And you'll find Tolypocladium mushrooms that are like way more black metal and way less county fair than these. So they're like streaky and black, and there will be this connection point that you can see with the cap. You have these cool little like streaky bits, and sometimes they turn really black, and so they're very, very fun to photograph. But the last thing I think I will say about identification, these are really distinctive, but anyway, a feature that I think is cool is that they have this sort of pimply roughened surface on the cap of the mushroom, and it is definitely like a hard nugget here. So like I can really squeeze the cap of this mushroom pretty hard before I crushed it based on it like right at the point at which it connects with this hollow, very sort of delicate stem. All right, so let's talk about cordyceps and this critter's parasitism. So the Ophiocordyceptaceae is an order of fungi that are parasites, and the most famous of them are cordyceps that are used medicinally, and you have cordyceps that are sort of rather common regionally in North Carolina, Cordyceps militaris in particular. And so those are pathogens and parasites on moth and butterfly larvae primarily. But so you'll see these little tongues of fungus growing up, and as you unearth them, you'll find sort of a little, moth, basically protomoth underneath. But our Tolypocladium have a different habit. They are parasitic on this little lump. So this is the truffle part of the truffle club fungus. So this is called Elaphomyces granulatus, I think. And so the common name for this would be a deer truffle. It is not edible, and it's a little hard to see because it's very hard to get these clean without destroying them. But it also has a sort of granulated, almost like micro pachyderm surface underneath. And if you break it open, you have this sort of granular interior. And this one is taken, see, they get damaged and they turn to goo pretty easily. But when you find these mushrooms, they'll oftentimes just see a little bit of them poking out of the leaf litter. And then it's kind of a pain in the butt to dig all the way down to the end of this longisegmentatum and then unearth your little truffle underneath. So always a fun thing to do in January. Speaking of fun things to do in January is to cogitate on the cordyceps in general. They're just a totally fascinating group of fungi. So I encourage you to look into them a little bit further than just HBO's The Last of Us, although I will admit I have a weakness for that and a lot of other zombie and horror fiction. All right, so we're going to take one last look at this sucker. I also want to mention another species or species group called Tolypocladium capitatum, and it looks quite similar. My understanding is that it is darker more frequently, like that, heavy metal look I was talking about, and a little bit less brightly colored. But that's another possibility. But again, I'm not going to spend too much time worrying about a specific ID, because I can post it to iNaturalist if I want somebody to verify it, or I can share it with my hyper intelligent mushroom friends on the internet. I do want to also just share this beautiful little mushroom that I found. This is a Laccaria mushroom. And I am just going to take this home. Like, I've seen this mushroom a lot of times, and I value being able to be a fast relearner. So I don't spend a lot of time like with each mushroom and that I find, and studying it and taking notes and then encoding it. I think it is genius and brilliant that a lot of people do that, but I am kind of lazy. And so I've seen this mushroom a lot of times over the years, and I'm like, it has the gestalt of the Laccaria genus, which is just sort of, a little bit on the smooth, slightly rubbery side with these big, chonky gills underneath and a little bit of a streaky stem. And again, like, I could be wrong. I don't think so. But if I am, I will maybe post note in my summary or a postscript. I kept trying to say subscript, and that's not what I wanted to say. All right, so I guess all I'm saying is I was messing around with these Tolypocladium mushrooms for several minutes before I noticed this, and I almost stepped on him a couple of times, and then just, took the time to unearth it. And even though wintertime, there aren't a lot of sort of flashy fruiting bodies out there, are a lot of really interesting little critters that are worth spending some time with, and in my case, relearning, because when I go out mushroom hunting, my recommendation, if you're new to it or you're sort of willing to take a very leisurely pace with learning like I am, pick 2 or 3 things that you know are predominant in the season and habitats you're visiting, and focus on learning those. And, other things, that's just bonus material. And so in this case, this has always, unfortunately, been a bonus material mushroom, but I'm going to take it home because I have only found 2 or 3 different mushrooms today, and I'm very familiar with my Tolypocladium, so this is my next step. I have rambled, but I had a recent interaction with some folks who are note takers, and that's freaking fantastic, and I'm jealous. But I also am very I want to encourage people to not be daunted by the taxonomy and the rapid changes. One advantage of this sort of novice or amateur's approach that I take is that I can look up these mushrooms each year and find out what has happened with them taxonomically since the last time I saw them. So sometimes being a relearner is a good thing. Anyway, again, ramble. I am going to finish with one of the things I like to finish with. This is a teeny tiny and also destroyed Russula mushroom. You'd call this a brilgill if you were into a common name. But a lot of them are really beautiful red mushrooms with white gills underneath, and they're very brittle. And many of them are a little bit spicy. So I'm going to taste it, see if it's spicy, and spit it out. But another thing I just wanted to highlight, in cold weather, we get these bright red teeny tinies in the Russula genus. And sometimes they have this beautiful sort of patch of light, sort of warm whitish color in the middle, and I just think it's great. So another thing, okay, no spice on that one. I was just going to say, a lot of those small, very bright red Russula mushrooms are quite spicy. But in this case, that one didn't give me any, any spice whatsoever. So that's a very good example of like the Russula genus. If you're interested in learning about red Russulas, there's a million billion of them. I did make a video about them. And the long and short is they're great to smash, lots of fun to taste. And there's like, I don't know, a couple hundred of them, and it's kind of impossible to tell them apart, but who cares? It's a lot of fun to find them. Okay, thanks a lot. Have a good day, and sorry for any errors I have made. I think I did pretty good here, but if you have any comments, leave them in the comments, and subscribe to the channel if you're interested.